keep telling y'all, it does not have to be a new year, a new you. It just has to be a healthier you in the new year, because this new year is wild. So make sure you check out TLC products, Life Drops, NutriBurst, okay? Get your vitamins, help you fight off whatever you could possibly catch out there, okay? It is not a cure, but I feel like it definitely helps, especially if you're working out like myself with ifyoucanmove.com and Nakia LASHAE. Y'all check her out, okay? Also check out all of her products. Get you a drip belt, a waist snatcher, get you the drip top, like, you know, little tank top, help you sweat even more in your arm area. Yes, okay, she has all of those things and much more. Check out the links down below, and don't forget how cute I be looking in the Peja Amari. Okay, cute in the Peja Amari. All right, get into it.
Come on in, come on in, come on in, not come on in, not come. Sorry, y'all know I'm weird, whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue, and I am back for another This Is Us review. You guys, oh my god, this episode was really good. So I'm going to do my best to kind of go in order as things happen until we start clumping together storylines, because there are four things happening all at once. So we're in the past with Jack and Rebecca bringing Randall, Kevin, and Kate home. And then we're with Randall and Beth bringing home Annie. And then we're with Kevin bringing home the twins. And then we're with Kate and Toby bringing Ellie and the baby home. Okay, so yeah. It was a lot, but it was good. And I love the way it was sewn and weaved together. It was just really good, you guys. I love when they do these, okay? Like, just showing the juxtaposition or the similarities or the differences, but just how everybody experiences some of these same things when they go through these huge life moments, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? So Rebecca and Jack are about to leave with the babies from the hospital. Rebecca looks terrified and also very sad for some reason, like not as happy as anybody else right now on the episode, okay? And Jack seems extremely confident until he goes downstairs to put the car seats in the car. And a security guard tells him that he has to turn it around and it has to face the back seat. And he's like, why do you have 3 in there? And he's like, because I'm bringing 3 babies home. And he was like, oh, God help you. Like, I didn't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that he even asked that question, that poor man probably wouldn't even know what to do with 3 babies at one time. And I think this is the moment when Jack realizes what he's gotten himself into. Like, now you really have 3 babies. You could have just went home with 2 babies, but now you're going home with 3 babies. And I know that's what you intended, but still, it's just kind of like a lot, all right, all at once. So then we see Kevin in present time putting the car seats into his luxury vehicle, which was smooth and velvety. Like, I love that buttercream colored leather. Like, it's really nice. Anyway, but he's putting the car seats in. He's a little bit frustrated, and some weird guy is standing there just taking pictures of him. You guys, like, as a photographer, as somebody, that shoots out in public, I get it, but some of that shit is hella voyeuristic and creepy, that you walk up on somebody and just start taking pictures of them without even saying hello, without even asking. Like, I'm sorry, whenever I see it, it is such an invasion to me. Like, it really annoyed me. And Kevin is having a tough moment right now. So the fact that he couldn't even like have this moment to himself is just really obnoxious. And he gets annoyed with the guy, but then he apologizes and over explains and then lets the guy take a better picture. And I was like, Kevin is always having to be the good guy, the great guy. And I get it, you guys. Growing up, I heard I was selfish so much. I heard I didn't listen so much that as an adult, those are things that I am constantly working on, constantly checking myself to see, did I listen? Am I, am I being bullheaded and all of that type of stuff? Like, am I being selfish? Like, to the point now where I feel like I have to learn to be a little bit more selfish. At least that's what my therapist says. But either way, yeah, I was definitely feeling Kevin in this moment of always having to turn on for people, even in moments when you should not have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really irked my spirit a little bit. When he gets back to the hospital room, Madison says that they're taking the babies home today. And I guess he didn't know that. He looks terrified. Then we see Randall and Beth. They're leaving the hospital after 2 days of slowly expelling Annie from Beth's body. The nurse comes in. She's sad to see them go. We all know Randall and Beth are peach. You know what I'm saying? They're great company. They're funny. They're sweet. They're endearing. They're attractive. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Like, she's sarcastic and funny and sweet, and, he's very nice and, good looking. And yeah, like, there's something about them that you totally get why the nurse was like, oh my God, you guys are my favorite couple. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get it. Kate comes out of the hospital with Haley Rose to meet Toby. And he was just on the phone with somebody right before she came out, but we didn't really know what that was about at the moment. Ellie, I don't know why I was calling her Sherry last week. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know why. You know what? It probably came up wrong in the subtitles, and I just kind of wrote that down and kept going with it instead of like actually listening to what they were saying. Like, they don't say their names that much though. You know what I'm saying? You're just watching them, but nobody's like saying the person's name over and over again like that. But either way, Ellie, the birth mother, comes out of the hospital so that they can bring her home. And I was just like, this seems awkward. This seems rather uncomfortable. They definitely should have gotten her a ride home by herself so that they can have this time to bond with their baby without the looming depression of the mother who had to give a baby up because she couldn't afford to take care of it. Like, Ellie loves that baby. And so the idea that she was supposed to be able to get in the car and be all happy and, totally detached from the baby and just like, oh my God, okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Like, yeah, that's a lot. It really is. So then we see everybody simultaneously getting in their cars with their new babies to go home. Jack asks Rebecca if he's mentioned how much of a warrior she is, because he's noticing that she's kind of like tapped out a bit. And she says she's sad. And she says if it weren't 3 of them, she would be sitting in the back seat right now instead of sitting in the front seat, having to keep turning around, damn near popping a stitch. So she's not in a good place right now for a few reasons. And we start to realize that at this point that, we forgot that even though Randall grows up to be her favorite in a sense, at the end of the day, he was not biologically her baby. And she did not have the room or the space to grieve the baby she lost because her husband hurry up and put another baby, a black baby at that, in that spot. Someone that's sticking out as a sore thumb that they aren't yours. You know what I'm saying? So even though like people can look at that however they want to look at that, I can imagine that's a lot for anybody to deal with after they just had babies. Your emotions, your hormones, you lost the baby, you have 2 new babies, now he brings in a 3rd baby. Like it's a lot. I think that in that moment, she's really just trying to process, and the process is taking a minute. Then the babies start crying, which stresses Jack out a bit. Some maniac cuts him off right before he pulls into the gas station. So the guy is like, speeding behind Jack and running up behind the car. They're about to pull up to a stop sign right before they pull into the gas station. And the guy swerves around Jack. Jack has to stop from running into him. Also, the guy can pull into the gas station that's a few feet away. Like, he pulled into the gas station before Jack, but Jack got out that car before he did and went straight for him. Rebecca's like, Jack, we have 3 babies. Don't do this, And he was really about to go pound town on dude because he was like, hey man, I got 3 new babies in that car. And he's like, that's not my problem. Like, you should get your ass kicked. I really don't like people that feel like that's okay to be that way out in this world. Like, I'm sorry, you guys, like, one of the main reasons why society works in the function of, you know, let's all get along so we don't all kill each other or we're not all starving. Like, even though we have people who are going through that, there's not like you know, the largest number of, you know, people like you see in movies sometimes where it's like factions and shit and people out here scratching and surviving good times as dictators. It's terrible and they fighting and shit's blowing up, you know, like in other countries that are, you know, I'm not even gonna get into that. But anyway, I'm just gonna say that if it were not for let's not be assholes to each other in the streets, this place would be so much worse. So when people think it's okay to be like that, that really annoys me. Really, really annoys me. I kind of feel like people like that either need to get their shit together, or when somebody taps you, don't be upset. I'm just saying. Jack refrains from beating the guy's ass. And then he goes into the store to get, you know, a few things, and he gets a little bottle of liquor. Everybody knows that Jack has a drinking problem. He's a recovering alcoholic, and him getting a little bottle of Jack Daniels and swallowing it in one gulp is a little worrisome. But he is a new dad. He has 3 kids in the backseat crying. His wife seemingly probably is going through postpartum, and nobody knows what that is yet, but you can feel that something's wrong. And this maniac just tried to kill y'all in his car and then told you that, you know, that wasn't his problem. Yeah, it's a lot going on right now. Also, the fear of turning into your alcoholic, abusive father. That too. When he gets back to the car, he suggests that Rebecca drive so that he can turn around and check on the babies. Okay. And she says, okay. When they finally get home, they sit, you know, in front of the house, and Rebecca tells Jack that she's worried about not being a good mom. And really because when she was younger, her mom had a miscarriage. And it took her a very long time to get over that. And in a way, it seemed as if she wasn't a good parent to Rebecca because she was having a hard time getting over losing a baby. So Rebecca doesn't want to be like that. She just lost a baby, and she's scared that she's not going to be a good parent or a good mom to the remaining 3 babies. And Jack says, out of everything that I'm worried about, I'm never worried about you being a bad mother. Like, I know you're going to be a good mother. And it was really beautiful. But what made the moment even more beautiful was Jack as a man in the 70s turning to his wife and saying, I'm scared I'm going to be like my abusive father, who I used to get anxiety, you know, about when he would come home. Like, you know, I'm a kid, I'm playing, I'm happy. And as soon as it was time for daddy to come home, my nerves are bad. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I totally understand that. And my dad wasn't even like that. You know what I'm saying? But everything had to shift to his comfortability once he got home. And sometimes that meant that you were being too much of a kid. You were playing too loud. You were being obnoxious. You were annoying. So now you have to go in the back and be by yourself because you're annoying your dad who just came home from work. And Jack, probably like a lot of kids, is like, you know, he couldn't stand to be around us. When the truth of the matter is, it wasn't that he couldn't stand to be around you. It was that life is stressful. Life is hard. Work is hard, especially when you like a family that's barely making it and you're the man and you're responsible for taking care of your kids. It's not an excuse. But the truth of the matter is, it's not necessarily about the kids. It's about the lack of being able to provide for said kids. Coming home and realizing how hard your day was, how terrible your day was, and all you want to do is numb the pain instead of soaking up the love that your children could have for you if you weren't a terror to them. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely got it. You know, it wasn't always like that. I definitely felt more safe with my dad than Jack seemed to feel. But like I said, my dad wasn't like, you know, abusive like this. Ooh. Jack also admits that he drank at the gas station. You know what I'm saying? So he was just being honest and having a real conversation with his wife and letting her know that she wasn't the only one that had those fears, which is amazing because I feel like in that time period, it was as if men could not be honest about their emotions, and Jack always seemed to like buck against the status quo. Jack says that he doesn't want to be like his dad and suck up all the air in the room. And Rebecca says, you can't suck up all the air in the room, Jack. You are the air. And I was just like, I'm not going to cry. Y'all not going to do this to me. Moving along. So Randall mentions to Beth that he would like to have another kid. Mind you, they're in the car. This baby is barely out of the cooch, okay? And he's talking about a third kid. And Beth says that her insides are still on the outside, and he just passed up the Dairy Queen. They were supposed to go to a Dairy Queen. She had a baby for 2 days. Her only ass was the Dairy Queen, okay? So he turns around and they go to the Dairy Queen, and then he mentions the third kid shit again because he would like to try for a boy. And she's like, am I gonna have to throw something at you? And I was just like, Beth is my spirit animal sometimes. I'm the same person. Anyway, he explains to Annie, the baby, how special it is to him that the nurse said to him that Annie had his eyes, because he grew up in a family where nobody looked like him. So now he finally has branches on his family tree that are directly and genetically, from him, which is a total different thing than, having a family and everybody loves you. But my eyes in this kid, and then in the kid that comes from this kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit means something. It really does. Honestly, I feel like it's one of the biggest things is you having, a line, you having a family tree and having branches and all of that, especially to somebody like Randall, you know what I'm saying? Who is such a good person and really sees the more branches as the more people to love instead of as more responsibility, like Jack's dad looked at him. You know what I'm saying? Beth comes back with her Dairy Queen, and at this point he realizes, and he says it out loud to Annie and to her, that he'll have to rely on the grandkids and the great-grandkids to fill, his boat, since they're only going to have the 2 kids. Of course, not knowing that later on that they would adopt Deja. Child, throughout this whole episode, we were seeing an adult Deja at the hospital that she works at. We just didn't know it. And that's why I didn't really make notes about it until the end, because I hate making notes about things I don't understand until I understand them. So, after the way they did Nasir Ahmed last week, I wanted to make sure that this week I got the full picture before I actually wrote it down. But yeah, it still made me feel some type of way, y'all. And it's drawn to this scene. Like, it's drawn from this scene, him having branches, and how even though he wanted it to be biological, how he ends up having Deja, who gives him grandkids that may not biologically be his, but those are his grandkids, and it doesn't even matter. And the fact that he is the adoptive child himself, like, all of that is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Those correlations and how much they mean. So we jump back to Kevin and Madison, and they're in the car with their babies driving home, and Kevin realizes that somebody has been following them for the past 2 turns. So Madison is in the back seat. She's scared. We're scared that Kevin is too tired to be driving. But the fact that Kevin clocked the person that's following them, he's up. But it still worries him. So she's like, pull over, Kevin. I'm like, thank God, pull over, Kevin. Because if you get in a wreck with these damn babies in the car, I'm going to have a stroke. So they pull over, and the person that was following them pulls over, and Kevin gets out the car like, you want to go? You want to go? And I was just like, I definitely want to go. Like, I want you to go. I was so upset, you guys. I was so upset. It's one thing to be taking pictures of somebody out in a public place, but to follow this man and his new babies and his wife home from the hospital, and then to not give a shit and feel like it's, because it's legal, you can do that. Like, you're a stalker. That's invasive. That makes the people that are going home not feel safe because some fucking weirdo has their address and followed them home with their babies. When Kevin confronted him, he just keeps taking pictures of Kevin. And y'all get mad when somebody takes your $5,000 camera and smashes it against the fucking pavement. I hate to use so much profanity in This Is Us, but this really pissed me off. The attitude. Madison comes out, tells Kevin to go back with the kids. She got this. She turns to the guy. She tries to level with him, but he's a lonely piece of shit with no family or no reference points for why this isn't okay. Okay, he has no reference point. He has no kids. He has no family that he likes. So I guess because he's a miserable sack of shit, that means that this should be okay. All right, fine. So now Madison realizes she can't level with him. He's an asshole. So she says, give me your card. I'll call you when Kevin jogs. He jogs every morning at 9 a.m. I'll make sure he doesn't have a shirt on. And he's like, and make sure he has tight make sure he has tight shorts on so I can see his Johnson. Like, I'm like, I get it though. Madison did it the smart way. But me, I wanted to pound the guy into the pavement. I would have went to jail. So thank God for people like Madison. So the guy leaves. Okay, so they're able to get in the car and go home. She tells Kevin to get some rest and she can drive. She got this. Okay, he takes a nap in the car and he ends up having a dream of his dad. And his dad is holding his babies and telling him that the babies are beautiful. And then he tells him, Kevin, can you do me a favor? Please stop trying to live up to me. He said, you were terrified that you're not going to live up to me like I was terrified that I was going to be like my dad. We spend too much time being silently terrified. He said, decide what you want and go after it. And that's it. That's all. When he wakes up, he realizes that he's the only one in the car and Madison has taken the babies inside. And when he gets inside, she has everything under control, everything. And he realizes that what he wants is for Madison to be his wife. So he proposes to her for real with the hospital band. And I was like, all right, you guys are cute. You guys are cute. I don't know if it's going to last, but you guys are cute. So Ellie tells Toby and Kate that she can't do the open adoption thing. Kate wants it to work and tries to, is there anything we can do? Ellie says, listen, Kate, I just want to go home. I want to say goodbye to the baby. And I just want to go home. I can't deal with this right now. And Toby's like, we get it. We totally get it. It's okay. When they get home, Kate tells Toby that she's scared that their baby will feel the abandonment that Randall felt his whole life, not knowing if his biological parents, cared, loved him, anything, And Toby says, we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. But then later on, Toby tells her that he lost his job. And he was worried that he would ruin this day. But he found out right before she came out of the hospital. That's the phone call that he was on. And she says, we'll deal with that tomorrow. Today, let's just be a family. And, it's cool. We'll figure it out. And he's like, see, unflappable. And he said that about her, that she was unflappable. But him on the other hand, he's flappable. He was worried, okay? They just gonna be a family today. And y'all, then we see at the end of the episode that Deja is working at the hospital, found out she was pregnant. She gets in the car with Annie. And Annie seems to be like the only one that knows about the baby, I guess. I'm not sure, but she gave her a gift for the baby. And then they go to the cabin, which has been rebuilt to greatness. And they meet Tess and Randall outside the cabin. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, when we see Deja kind of put her head on Randall's shoulder and then him kiss her forehead as they wait for whoever's pulling up to get out of the car. And, we've been looking at this one scene for seasons. So every, time we get a little bit extra from this scene, everybody, we get a little bit of relief. Because we're still trying to figure out who's dead and who's not by the time we get to this point, okay? So to see all three of his daughters, but to see, the love between him and Deja, it made me feel some type of way. I ain't gonna lie, at the end of the episode, it almost made me get emotional. But I didn't. I said, not this episode, this is us. Not this episode, you're not gonna do it to me. Okay? But yes, y'all, that was This Is Us. I hope y'all enjoyed the review. The episode was really good. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And share this with anybody you know who likes this show. Okay? Share it, share it, share it. It is greatly appreciated. I will see y'all in the next one.